Hey folks, welcome back. Going to talk some more today about light controllers. This is sold under many different names, but this one particularly is called Common Sense RC. It's a no solder realistic light kit. It's kind of realistic, but I'll get into that in a minute. Fairly simple, has 8 little plugs in there, and it does things like your front, lower lights, upper lights, headlights, left and right turn signal, brake lights, and reverse lights. Very budget friendly. It's usually about 25 bucks ish, and is very quick and easy way to just add some scale lights to your car. So I've got it installed on this one, and then as you can see it in just static mode, I've disconnected the servo and the motor just for noise. Got dim headlights, and just have the brake lights taped up there, and then you turn left, you get your left signals, turn right, get your right signals. And then on this model, whenever you accelerate, you take these dim and then your other lights bright. I think one's popped out. Of course it did. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Way over there for some odd reason. Let's get you back in there. So there we go. Now you can see dim and then it brights up. So you could configure these however you really wanted. I used to on one of my police trucks. What I did is I took these and made them amber and did 3 yellow lights, amber lights across the front, so it looked like a Ford Raptor. And then these would come on as headlights whenever I turned them on. So whenever it was just sitting static, you had that. So you have these plugs to work with, and then you get your turn signal, and then you also get, if you're going and you stop, you get brake lights, you go again, you get reverse. So that's fairly simple, straightforward how you do it, and then from there you just decide how you want to connect it to your system. Like I said, I've taken those and done some other things. The other neat thing is this is a Latrax Rally, and it has the stock receiver in there, but if you have like a TRX 4 or 6 that came with the 4-channel, I just wired up a simple switch, and then I put this on channel 3 that comes on the stock receiver, and then I just use the thumb when I want to make this my undercover police car. And you can just throw the blue and white in the front and the red and white in the back. Very, very simple, straightforward functionality. Here's one from Hobby Concepts. Just a simple switch, and so it wires into your spare channel, and then just has your positive and negative to connect to whatever you have. And as you can see here, I just have that going into a JST, which then goes into these that I wire up. So you can have your whatever you want, if it's a roof bar, light bar, but that actually just comes stock on your Latrax vehicles, and everything still works just like it did before. Again, it's one of the first things I did to mine when I got it. I think I got my E-Revo was my very first vehicle. Pardon the noise. And I took this exact light kit and stuck it on my E-Revo. So I stuck 2 holes up here for that, bright lights, the outsides, and then I did a couple lights down here just for your regulars and some turn signals, and in the back I did turn signals here with reverse lights here and brake lights here. So just popped a few holes in there. Oh yeah, and I did do that on the front as well. I had to remember. It's been a few years. So headlight and turn light, and then another option that you can have is I took a spare piece of Lexan, because on the E-Revo Truggy chassis it's just a bumper, and just mounted that Lexan between the bumper and the chassis, and then just reamed out a couple holes and mounted lights so I could have them down lower for that. And again, for 25 bucks, this is, I believe, the actual original controller that I had in this guy. And it's a very, very straightforward installation and use. good way to just get some quick scale lights on your cars. And however you plug them in, you have 8 plugs to work with, and then you just see how they're set up and what you want to do with them. We can go much deeper into this. Obviously, I like lights. It's one of the things that I really enjoy about this part of the hobby. So let me know what you think. If you have any experience with this one or a different light controller. Previously I covered the UF7C by My Trick RC, which is their previous generation, which they'll still have plenty of. It has a lot of vehicle modes and aircraft, as well as emergency vehicles, and then just got in their UF7R, which has a lot more functionality, including turn signals as well on their models. And this is like for the Ultimate Hauler by Traxxas, a lot of the Spectrum. So it's the same unit, it's just a different software that's loaded to it. And I'll be covering the UF7R in an upcoming video, as well as my semi-budget friendly Lane Boys RC kit. So these are MK4S and MK4P, and the S just stands for switchable. Each of these pins are 16 individual lights, and then the last one is switchable, kind of like what I've done up here on this one. But it all comes on here, has all that same functionality, and that's for the programmable MK4P. And the MK4S, which the only difference is how Lane or Werner has got these set up, is the S is just switchable. So you can only switch it on or off, but you can write a light program to it. That's how I did the tactical, and it's a very cool, neat way to do it. This one I haven't really played with yet. I just got it in. This is going to be for the Porsche 911 GT1 Street that I'm doing. And it is this. These equal. The difference is this one has your positive and negative pins that you push in, where this one is all those little tabs are just solder tabs. So I've got to up my soldering game to make that happen. And then this is that same switch like I showed over here from Hobby Concepts. There it is. Except for miniaturized, and so that will go with this, and that will create my Porsche. Got a couple extras, and then this is just a consolidator. Instead of having to have all these cables going everywhere, it just consolidates everything into one nice little bundle. Speaking of cables, that is one of the nightmares of lights. There are cables everywhere. So once you get them where you want them going, then you would start doing wire management, whether it's using excuse me, these little pad-eye tie-downs with zip ties, or whether you used tape. If you use hot glue, just be careful. Some of these wires can melt. And I've used various different methods to get it done. So once you kind of have it rough wired up, then you want to take it and find my police truck. And then this is the outcome. I've got it kind of Velcroed down here with some zip ties, some Velcro there, got a pad eye there, and then back here kind of coil them into a mounting here on the roof, and then just run them up so that when I do that, it doesn't hang down. And that's about it. The signal comes off of the motor in a Y harness, which I thought I had handy for demonstration purposes, but I don't, which is fine. So we come off of here, and it's got two spots for your cables. One will be for your turning on this controller, and the second one is for two. So one for turn, two for burn. That is actually flipped on the My Trick RC. The one port is for the motor, and the two port is for turning, so make sure you're paying attention to whichever one you're using so it doesn't fry it, and then you just plug that into your channel, and then from there it provides a little pigtail Y harness where you would then plug the other one in. So if this one was, let's say my turning, I'm not looking, I'm just assuming, oh, it's still got the blade on it, never mind. We'll just plug it in and go from there. So then, so that would all still work. Again, go, don't go. That's it for the Common Sense RC kit. Again, pretty straightforward. If you have any questions about lights, I'm happy to answer them. You can find my email in my About Me section. I think you have to be on a desktop, otherwise it's hidden for mobile devices. Have no idea why. I think I dropped it in the description of the About Me as well. And then feel free to just drop me a comment on here as well, or you can find me over on Instagram under All RC Fun, and be happy to answer your questions. It gets complicated quick if you start going down this crazy path of doing your own. These are all lights. There are some regulated lights. There are some just not regulated lights. Needs resistors. You get into wires. We've got this. I think this is 30 gauge enameled wire. You start getting into, actually you just use speaker wire. That's 24 gauge. When I was being budget conscious in my builds, I found some old network cable which has copper strands in it, 8 pairs or 4 pairs, 8 pairs, I don't know. Has a lot of wire, so you can get like a little section of Cat 5, Cat 6 network cable, and then I just repurposed that, which is what that a couple of those are in this one. My tactical is just loaded, and so it's that same nice gauge wire. If you get some good category 5 or 6 cable that's solid copper, it's kind of overkill for what you need, and it becomes a bit cumbersome to try to install. So that would be something more like this, and it doesn't seem like much, but when you go for something that's more of a twisted strands, you have the pieces versus a solid copper, just the weight adds up so fast, especially when you put over 30 lights like I did over my tactical. I think I got 32 lights on it. So just something to note. There are tons of different options out there. Happy to help. Hope this was helpful to you. It made me smile just thinking about how fun it is to do little silly stuff like this. Silly to me. Anyways, have a great day. Make yourself smile. If you can, make somebody else smile as well. See ya. Hey, welcome back. So as I was wrapping up, I forgot there's a pretty cool My Trick RC light strip. He's moved on to some different things, but it's just your standard servo plug with a positive and negative. But what I've done is I've taken that into my simple switch that I have, which is, again, it's taking your signal wire, positive and negative, putting it on this little board, and then it turns it on or off based on what you're doing with your remote radio. Sorry. But what he has is these blue and red light strips, and so what I've done is just plugged it in, and now this could be controlled. If you want to do like an underglow of your vehicle, you wanted to do an interior glow to make that look good, and that cuts the power. At the time he had multiple colors, but just kind of open up your mind to the possibilities when you see different products of how you can use them for your build. So you want some nice light across the back of your car, and these are all can be cut down, and got one right here that I've used on some other products. This becomes a dome light. So I took just one of these little squares, cut it off, lightly soldered onto these little pads, and then that becomes a dome light for one of my police trucks or something for report writing. And then you still retain all the functions of your Common Sense kit, because this is just using the third channel on this Latrax. Then one last thing, since I got you, is on the turn signals. The way that the Common Sense kit does it is it does one plug and then it splits it here for your turn signal. So you run one to the front and one to the back. If you wanted to do different colors, then you would just do one of these singles, or you could put this together and maybe put a lens over it and then use a splitter, which would then take that signal, and you could plug in a red if you wanted a red on the rear for your turn signals. Lots and lots of options. As you start to go down that road, if you run into challenges, let me know. Some colors aren't compatible, so the voltage that they use to light up, say for a blue, is different than the voltage for a red, and they could actually cancel each other out, causing it not to work. So it might just be a more complicated answer. But anyways, just wanted to show you real quickly, kind of like when you're walking through the toy aisle at the big box store and you see something, go, I wonder if that fit on an SCX24. Just always keep an open mind, and if you're trying to do something and you can't figure it out, hit up one of the companies, hit up me. I may not have an answer, but I do like solving problems. So hopefully this helps, and I made myself smile. Hopefully I made you smile. Get out there and have some fun. Talk to you later.